Nosferatu together.
Yeah, Robert Eggers, movie Nosferatu. Very disturbing, but very good. Like effective.
I want to give you one other thing.
Yeah.
Should women watch horrors as much as men? I know this sounds weird. I'm going to be sexist, and I think that there's part of that masculine role to be exposed to things because that's our job, right? Like I need to study wolves because when wolves come to the door, I need to be able to kill them, right? As a woman, I will expose you to, like, they have that more intimate connection with children.
Yeah.
They're a little softer, which we need.
Yeah.
Right. And so as a male, I feel like it's more my job to learn how to shoot. It's more my job to do these things because she's way better at these things.
Yeah. That's a great question. I don't know that I'd have a definitive answer. I would say in general, I would kind of lean away, like towards saying it's agreeing with you.
Like I'd say, do you want your daughters or your wife to watch as much horror as you?
No. Yeah. But I do think that they should know how it works. Right. Like that's the thing is because, like, for example, in Nosferatu, in some ways, like that movie, it's very erotic, but in how would I say this? Mostly in an appropriate way where it's pointing out the dangers of like your passions. And they even have like Willem Dafoe's character, who's this sort of occultist.
Well, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
It's about, give a little bit of an overview. I think it's based off of Dracula,
right?
Which is we should also chat about Vlad, but maybe let's chat about Nosferatu. Give a little overview. Maybe we can dissect it and then move over to Vlad.
Yeah. Okay. So Nosferatu. I mean, the original. I think the word Nosferatu means undead.
Okay.
And it's like there's that original like 1920s German film.
It's a quiet one too.
Yeah, it's a silent film called Nosferatu, and they wanted to make their own like Dracula like story, but couldn't because of copyright reasons. So they kind of made their own like Count Orlok, and instead of Count Dracula, and it's on the surface very, very similar, but there's a lot of so that's the like kind of origins of this thing. But and Robert Eggers is one, he's a big time like cinephile, but he loves folklore and legend and all that stuff. I mean, that's why like the Northman and a lot of the stuff he's made, all of it's
done
like,
a couple one, The Witch, the Northman,
the Lighthouse.
He's doing a werewolf one.
Yeah, he's doing a werewolf movie. He did the Lighthouse, and all of it is infused with like folklore, legend. What I appreciate is how much he takes things seriously, like all of the spirituality. He kind of treats it as if it's all real, which I think is helpful. Makes his movies extra potent in some ways. But so yeah, in the story of Nosferatu is this girl essentially makes a pact with a demon when she's very, very lonely, because she's like the very beginning of it is she is scared at night and she cries out to any spirit that'll help her, and Count Orlok hears her and answers, and that scene is very like
erotic.
Yeah, it's very erotic.
Yeah.
Like
and
without being pornographic, it's just you understand what's going on.
Yeah, and in that case, she is right. What is it to like in the Bible when it says like Noah knew his wife, or usually to know someone means to be not only intimate but sexually connected to them, right? And so there is that pact with the demons. We see that over and over again. Like sexuality is a huge way the demons get into us. That's
why many pagan like festivals and things involved orgies and all sorts of weird erotic stuff. Yeah. But yeah, with that, then it, time goes by, she's married, in this happy marriage, and they still kind of imply that like she tries to make her husband late for work by like pulling him back into bed. And he's even like, oh man, what did I do to deserve such a tempting wife? And he's like, I have to, like, I'm late, I have to go. And so you just have that passion is very deep in her, like has a hold on her. And yeah, the rest of it's kind of very similar to like a demon possession story, because it's about this girl has this connection to this and they make the Nosferatu, the Count Orlok, very demonic.
Yeah, COPD.
Yeah.
And you don't know how old he is.
Right.
And so I think where they
he has a pentagram cut into his skin.
So are they in France or Germany?
They're in Germany.
They're in Germany.
And then they go to Transylvania, which was part of
and that's because he's like working with banking. Yeah. And then this guy, wants to move there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, there's this count from like, you know, the older country who wants to buy real estate, like move here, and you're gonna go help seal the deal.
And you're gonna make a lot of money, kid.
Yeah, right. This will be your key to promotion.
Yeah, so it's her husband.
Yeah,
her husband is a broker or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
I think it's like law and finance and something. Yeah,
because he's got to go there to get and they're like, hey, this is your deal. You're gonna make money, and then he has to leave her alone.
Yeah. And so she stays with their friends. And while he's gone,
is his brother-in-law? They're just friends.
They're just buddies. Okay. Yeah. That's the impression I got. I think they went to school together or something, but
we're sorry, we're giving spoilers too late. Like,
oh, well, yeah. I mean, this is still all early.
Yeah.
So, you know, if
we're going to spoil it,
we are going to spoil the movie though.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things that happens, you know, he goes out there and meets with Count Orlok, and it's shot so well. It's so like uncomfortable and demonic. And he sees these like the local Romanian people, they're Transylvanians at that time, like, and they go find a corpse and, you know, impale it with a stake, and just tons of blood gushes out. And so he's all very like freaked out by how,
because he's like on the way there, and he's at the inn, and he starts having nightmares too. Right.
Yeah.
And there's local influence. People. Yeah. And they're like,
don't go to that castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then on the way to the castle, there is an Orthodox icon, right?
Right. Yep.
On the way.
Icon. Yeah.
So before he gets to the castle,
the path, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. And when he goes in, it's very similar to like, you know, Bram Stoker's Dracula, where, you know, he goes to Dracula's castle, and like Dracula in the book, he does before he goes in, he's like, enter of your own free will. And so it's like, it's this, then that's an important thing he holds over him later, of like, you chose this of your own will. And that's, like Orlok even makes him sign this very obviously like demonic looking document, and he's just like, I can't even read this. He's like, oh, it's in the language of my ancestors, you know. And
it was very well shot. It was very disoriented. Right? It was dark, the chair was moving. Come sit by the fire.
Right. And it never focuses on him, like the camera's blurry.
And I don't remember then did all the flashing scenes. Like, did he get bit? We don't know. Then he had these demonic dreams.
Yeah, right? He does end up getting attacked and fed on.
Yeah. But it's not obvious, right? It was like flashing around, and it's like he gets close, and then he wakes up though.
Yeah. He like,
and he's like,
yeah. Well, later it's when he finds Orlok in his tomb.
Well, so he wakes up, and then he's going around the castle
during the day, and he's not there, and he can't get out. He's trying to figure, like, he's basically trapped there, and finds out that like, oh, that thing he signed basically signed over his wife to this demon. And that's kind of an interesting theme, or I don't know, something that's buried in the movie, is that when he's with her, she doesn't have these like demonic episodes.
We forgot to say that, right? As she starts traveling, she starts having these ESP moments with Count Orlok, right? He's like coming to her in the night, and there's like, she's having weird like seizures. Her friends are like, what's going on? Get the doctor. And I don't remember, is that the point where William Dafoe comes in, or is that still later?
Yeah, they end up bringing him in still before her husband gets back.
And he's like an esotericist.
Yeah.
Like, he studies all forms.
He's an occultist. And he does. They even have him, he's trying to do alchemy, where he's like meditating, and he's like, oh, the stars aren't in the right. You know, so this gets interrupted. And so he was like, oh, he's this like medical doctor who ended up becoming an occultist. And that is something, there's another YouTube channel I'm going to plug called the Tabellion by Gravantis. And he's a good friend of my godson.
Yeah, he did the Nosferatu.
Yeah, he did a really good video about Nosferatu. I recommend checking that out, because he really explains like the Orthodox approach to it, and how he points out like, ultimately they decide they're going to go with
the occultist.
They choose the occult over, and this is the one thing I did want to bring up. One of the reasons why a lot of Orthodox really like this movie is because so while his wife's getting worse and worse, like her demonic affliction, there's, again, it's very like erotic, and she's, you know, kind of having these weird waking moments, and she's, you know, moaning and doing all that stuff.
Weird stuff.
And they don't know what to do. Like, and this was kind of neat, is that they're trying to approach it from like a medical, like a rationalistic materialist standpoint.
About that. Yeah.
For a while.
Hospital and using medical doctors.
Yeah. And they just can't figure out
give her more drugs.
Yeah.
Right? They were drugging her, which we know
Opium
that opens up the noetic realm even worse.
Yes. I like how you explained, like, when doing something like ayahuasca, you're basically blundering into the noetic realm drunk, and just every spiritual entity can be like, hey, come with me this way. And you have no way to discern what you're interacting with.
It's the night at the pub, man. Come and do shots with us.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? What do we do?
What's going on? This sounds fun.
Yeah, you can't. And that's what he does good in the movies, like it being in those places. And that happens in dreams too.
Yeah.
Right? You've been in a dream, you're like, I would never do that.
Right.
Like you're like walking down the street and some guy's like, hey, let's go party. And you're like, all right. You get in a car with some random person, like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But in your dream, you're just sort of.
That's what we do.
Yeah. And so back at the castle, he does end up escaping, even though he gets fed on multiple times. He keeps remembering that ritual he saw with the Romanian people. So he does find the tomb, like the sarcophagus, and he opens it, and of course it's like right at dusk. So it's like
come on, bro. Have you seen the movie before?
He's got the stake, and he's like all hesitant, and then you see like Count Orlok has that. I don't know if it's just a pentagram. It has even more. It might be like Key of Solomon or something, literally carved into his flesh, and he's like rotten, and he has like his legs are just, there's like no muscle on them. They're like, completely emaciated bone. Yeah. And but yeah, then Orlok ends up standing up, of course, before he's able to stab him with the stake, and he gets chased down, and
he falls in a river.
Yeah. Well, he gets fed on at least one of those nights. It's a really disturbing scene because Count Orlok's just lying on top of him, and there's that sucking sound because he bites you over the heart instead of the neck, and he's just gulping. Yeah. Which is like, oh boy, however much blood that is, like you're not gonna last long. But yeah, he ends up.
We could talk about that blood, right? Because it's actually funny, not to, in the Orthodox Church, right? Most organ transplants, again, talk to your priest, but most often those are not blessed,
right?
And even one of our priests has gone as far as like with blood donations. He's like, well, the soul is in the blood. It's like you're giving blood to other, and like again, he's said that he goes, hey, I'm not saying it's not blessed. I wouldn't do it, kind of thing. And so what is that archetype, right? Like what blood do we take today?
Right.
We took the body and blood of Jesus Christ.
Right.
So you see these vampires going to young people, and you see this in Hollywood with adrenochrome. I've used platelet-rich plasma, but that's my own blood. But you can imagine then your blood is full of nutrients. Right. And so you can understand then this is happening more and more. There's the one guy, Brian Johnson. He's like a really anti-aging transhumanist.
He's trying to live forever.
He takes his 19-year-old son's blood and takes it.
Right.
What is that, bro? You're a vampire.
Yeah.
And then if you remember Kim Kardashian, a lot of people in Hollywood, they were doing vampire facials. They were using their own blood, and I think it's just kind of rage bait, clickbaity. But from a spiritual perspective, right? And it's the same thing with eating meat. And this is my plug where people would give me a hard time for not eating my steak rare. But now I'm like, well, it's because I'm Orthodox. And I don't want to eat the blood of the animal. Right?
Sure.
Even that is right. The verse today, one of the readings today in Galatians or Hebrews, I don't remember which one.
Eaters of blood, right?
He talks about the priest bringing the blood into the church, right? And how that used to be used. So that's not insignificant. Maybe we'll chat about the other archetypal Halloween characters, but there's something to be said about a man sucking the life force out. And it's almost always a woman too. And they have both of them actually. There are some female vampires.
Sure.
But there's usually
it's a man.
There's usually a lead man, and then he has lots of females who then go and do his bidding. Right. That's Van Helsing. Right? I think there's one. Right? Doesn't he have? He has the flying. They're not.
The movie Van Helsing.
Yes.
Yeah, which is that's a total original
Hosh posh.
They're taking Abraham Van Helsing from the Dracula novel and being like, what when he was a younger man and this stuff.
And then what's it? Lilith? I mean, you've heard that of Lilith.
Yeah.
There's I think it's more Talmudic Judaism. Believe that she was like the first
Adam's first wife who was too uppity or something, and so then you got Eve, which is definitely not an Orthodox understanding at all. Check that out. But yeah, it is interesting because there's a lot of I know a lot of women who are either their parents are really into that stuff, so they'll name their daughter Lilith, or women who take the name Lilith, or a big thing that's very common is a lot of trans people, like who are male to female, will take the name Lilith as their.
And we're not bashing on everyone. Just know what names
mean stuff. So pay attention to that. Yeah, that's all.
So
that's
all I was just harping on the idea. It's like, wow, what do we do?
Yeah,
and then there's something with the Eucharist. Is kind of that getting rid of that pagan idea of
it's the final
cannibalism,
bloodless sacrifice,
right? And it's the only real you are participating in the creator of the universe.
Yes,
everything else is nil.
Right.
Why would you even think about that? It makes it actually, not only is it already sacrilegious, but it makes it extra sacrilegious. It's like the only participation we have in consuming is the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Right.
So any other time I would to participate in vampirism, would be a inversion of that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's upside down too, because it's very often this is why part of the reason why the fasting rules are the way it is that it's don't eat things that have blood.
Yes.
Except sometimes you're allowed to have fish, which fish do have blood, but they're a much lower form of life if you want to think about it that way.
Just cook your steak well done like me.
Yeah, or you just fry all the blood out of it.
That's why I do. I put ketchup on there.
But yeah, I think and that is if you're Orthodox, we're not supposed to eat blood, which is interesting because you have a couple cultures that are even culturally Christian, like the Irish, where blood sausage and stuff like that is a thing. And a lot of that's driven by poverty, where it's well, if I kill my cow, I don't have my cow
blood
anymore.
Duck soup.
But if I can bleed it a little bit and get some of those nutrients in
and then
my pudding,
what's
black
it,
pudding and stuff.
Masala tribe out of Africa, some with an M, and they just literally drink cow's blood
with milk usually. Yeah, they mix them together, which is interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of that, but yeah, eating blood is very much not.
That's not blessed.
Not blessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that being said, I like my steak medium rare. So it doesn't mean you can't. At that point, well, it's been bled. It's all just meat juice at that point. But
I just want to highlight on that, vampire, you can see this, and as we go maybe through some of the other archetypes, and it makes them younger because they're fearful of death.
Right. It keeps them from dying. Right. It's this thing in order to do it, they have to feed off of life
to maintain life. And where Christ has died and resurrected.
Yeah.
Again, exact opposite of what's going on there from a symbolic perspective.
Right.
And realistic.
Yeah.
It's real. The real presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he literally is there. In a very profound way. I've only had glimpses of that realization, and it's terrifying in a good way.
Well, and if you actually read the pre-communion prayers about it's coal, it's going to burn,
I am thatch, partake of thou who art fire, right? So scorch me not. Yeah. But
and then we get what's awesome, then we get the Orthodox plug in the movie. Right? He falls in the river and
he ends up throwing himself. I don't know if he throws himself off or he falls, but he ends up falling off the castle wall into the river, and these nuns find him. And I love this is all the Orthodox love this part because Robert Eggers being so authentic, these nuns, there are so many things, so they bring him into their church, and they have a priest there, which, a male priest, because that's the only kind of priests that we have. And he's sensing him with the sensor, or I can't remember if it's the sensor. He's putting holy water on him, I think.
For sure. Maybe both.
And they're praying for him and doing and then because he's catatonic at this point, because he's been fed on by this demon. There's also this he has this just
he's neurotic, right? He's literally his noetic realm is jacked. He can't tell reality from blah blah.
Right.
I think he was having some flashbacks of his wife too, right? I think there's and it doesn't. That's why the movie does a good job, of installing the hallucinations and the insanity.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And then this is something that Gravantis points out in his video, but the only moment in that whole movie of real healing and deliverance happens in the Orthodox Church.
Yep.
He gets, prayed for and blessed with water, and he comes out of this demonic despondency and this catatonic state. And then they have a Schema nun, which is super cool to see. I know it's an actress. And
what's a Schema nun?
Yeah. So it's there's in monastic orders, there's the little Schema and the great Schema. The little Schema is usually worn underneath their monastic habit. And I mean, I only know some of the superficial things, but it's basically when you go from a novice to a monk, you take the little schema, which is like in a lot of ways, it's your monastic vow. It's the burden. It's it is a cross, and it's the promise that you have to fulfill, like live this monastic life. But taking the great schema, and I know different jurisdictions do things different. Well, I say jurisdictions, but like different local churches have different practices. Yep. The Russians only give the great schema. Usually you have to be very close to the end of your life, and you're usually very old when you take the great schema. But the Greeks, they do that one way, way earlier. And then I know there's this video that went viral or semi-viral recently of this guy driving around in the mountains of like Georgia or Serbia. I think it was Georgia. And he just happened, like he's riding like an adventure bike off-roading, and he runs into a schema monk. But he's a very young looking schema monk. You know, his beard's still brown and stuff. And he's like, where are you going? You can't go this way. Follow me. And the monk just like leads him through and is like moving like branches out of the way and shows him the way out, which is really cool. Wow. And the guy was just like, man, I think I found a wizard or something. And then everyone who knows what that is like, dude, you understand how blessed you are to have encountered this man? Like, yeah, that's awesome. So, cause he was living by himself. Cause usually if you're in the great level schema, I mean,
so that is a high level, someone who's been a monastic for a very long time.
Yeah. It's considered just second baptism, right?
Like, and statistically speaking, that person's probably pretty holy.
Yes. Right? The idea too, part of the taking the great schema is you are considered a living icon of Christ at that point.
Wow.
And so a lot of the time monks, when they're on their deathbed, if they haven't had the great schema yet, they'll be given the great schema right before their death. Like he was Abbot Seraphim, but he became schema archimandrite Pantaleimon right before his death.
Was it, did Constantine, aka Kirill, is that right? Kirill Methodius, wasn't he? Was Constantine? Was he? You know, I'm sorry, random thought.
I actually don't know, but I would
took
assume
another
so.
name.
Yeah,
right?
he. That's why, like, we always remember Saint Cyril and Methodius, the teachers of the Slavs. But Saint Cyril, his name was Constantine the whole time he was doing that, and right before his death, I know I can't remember if he was a monk before or after, because usually my understanding, so when you're baptized, you get your Christian name. When you become a monk, you take a new name. And then when you get if you get the great schema, you take another name. So you can have 3 names, in your life. Just like the same with getting tonsured. You get tonsured when you're baptized. You get tonsured when you become a reader. So you're initiated into the priesthood. And then you get tonsured when you become a monk. Okay. You're initiated into the monastic life.
Okay. Sorry for the sidestep.
No, it's good.
So schema monk lady.
Yeah.
Right.
Schema nun.
Yeah. Sorry.
And she's lady. Yeah. And
female. Sorry.
And I liked too that she's
like talking to him. She's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, stay here. Right.
Yeah. She's saying a bunch of stuff to him and I forget the name of the language. It's like the earlier language of Romania. It starts with a D. It's like, I can't remember the name of the language, but it's cool because
someone
it's very authentic.
Chat GPT and put in the comments.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
or if you know it.
Yeah, and it's even, I think, on the like Wikipedia page for the movie and stuff of what language it was. But so she's speaking in that language, and there's this young novice nun.
She was translating.
It was translating for him and explaining like you have to stay here. His power, like can't breach the monastery ground, and
take that.
Yeah, and
Count
Orlok. Yeah,
you can't mess with the Orthodox.
Right. And she said they even say like, oh well, like when he was going to die, he made a pact with the Dark One, meaning the devil, like to, keep him alive. But basically, in order for him to do that, he has to constantly feed on people, right? Like it's this unlife, right? I have to eat the blood of other living things in order to
I have to sacrifice things to myself,
right,
instead of God, right?
Yeah, you become your own God, which is a horrifying thing to be. And so they're like, you need to stay here and recover, and he's so worried about his wife because he knows what Orlok wants to do to her, so he's like, I have to go. So he ends up leaving the monastery, and it was that that funny thing where like, did you learn nothing from that? Like, why didn't he immediately take his wife back there?
We had said that, right? And he woke up, and I think it had actually been a couple days, right? I think they explained.
Oh, like, there was a lot of time went by,
and then he's like, "What? I have to get home." He get right, and he kind of takes off, and
then the travel back is long. And
you're like, "No, dude, stay at the monastery. Go get your wife, go back to the monastery."
But then they have that threat where, like, when Orlok does get to their area in Germany, he causes this plague of rats and everything, and he's like, if you because her husband's even like, we need to sure, sorry, you're good, we'll pause, keep going. Okay, I can keep talking. So when he gets back to the Count Orlok is spreading pestilence and famine and all this horrible stuff, and he's threatening that, like, if you don't fulfill your promise to me, he's talking to the girl, like all of these people will suffer because of you. So even if she were to run away and hide in the monastery or whatever, he would take vengeance on all the people around her, the people that she cares about. So her conscience really couldn't bear that. But anyway, I do think the film does a very good job depicting kind of the demonic reality, because something else, by the time they get Willem Dafoe's character involved, he's this occultist, but he even points out that people who struggle with like their base passions, like lust and gluttony, are more susceptible to influence from the demonic, which is very true. That's like the Orthodox understanding of it too, is that we're influenced by our passions, by our appetites. Welcome back. So
my kidneys don't move, so everything just
I'm sorry, man.
Where did you get? So we get back, the rest of the story, is there anything? The rest of it kind of sucked.
Well, and I think that's kind of the point. They even have like I was talking about how Willem Dafoe does mention that people who struggle with like base passions like lust and gluttony are more susceptible to demonic influence, and he's the one who's like, this is demonic, and even his like scientific colleagues are kind of like, no, and that's something that I'm trying to remember the line exactly, but Orlok mentions like he likes Germany because everyone's so rational.
German idealism at that time, like, they're not even going to imagine that the plague was caused by me.
Right, and they don't believe, so it's just so much easier for him to operate because they deny the spiritual realities of things. But I was mentioning too, or getting to that point where when Orlok does start appearing to her, like manifesting in the flesh, he says to her like, I am appetite, right, which is very much like very, very correct in a demonic way, right? That's how the demons try to influence us, is by inflaming our passions, and that's how they'll try and access these things. There's even and I'm worried for that actress because she did such a good job. To where she's frothing at the mouth and like convulsing and doing all these things. And the climax of the movie, the end of it, is it's very sad because this is the occultist solution to it, is like, you have to give yourself to the demon, and delay him, like keep him occupied long enough so the sun can come up and he'll die. But she dies too, and that is how the original Nosferatu movie ends. But it's very, very sad, because the thing I really hated about that too was that they just trick the husband into thinking that, you can go kill him in his coffin, so let's go do that, when they know that's not
William
that's
Dafoe
not even,
and who's the other, they kind of,
the doctor,
after everyone's dead, the whole city's torn asunder from the plague, his family and friends have died,
the little girls get killed by Orlok, and the wife dies, and then his friend like goes crazy. He dies too, didn't he? He's infected with the plague, and he goes to their tomb. That was really hard for me as a father. Like just how. I can't imagine having my family ripped away from me like that. And then, he, he pulls his wife out of the coffin to embrace her, and then he dies with her in his arms, and it's very, very sad.
Then you sucked.
I know. And you even have Willem Dafoe tries to, because he's talking with the girl about it, and she explains like, she
and
thinks
he encourages her,
yeah,
which is the occult
yep.
angle,
right? And he even says in a different time you would have been a great priestess of Isis.
Ugh.
And yeah, give yourself to demons.
Yeah,
that's
she was a great priestess of Count Orlok. Is what she was.
Yeah, literally gave herself to the demon. Sure, the demon in this story like died as part of it, but demons don't die. This is the like